Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tessie and today we are going to be recreating this dress. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome, and if you're yet to subscribe, kindly do that and let's get right into the video. So I'll be making use of this Ankara print and I have 3 yards of fabric. So you'll be needing 3 to 3.5 yards depending on the size. So what we'll do is to cut out the top part of the dress first before we cut out the down parts. So guys, the pattern paper is on fold as you can see. So what I'll do firstly is to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches. Divided by 2 will give me 8. Since this is an off shoulder, you are to take 1.5 or 2 inches off. Divided by 2. I'll be taking 1.5 inches off. So this is what I have. So now you determine how off you want your off shoulder to be. For me, I'll be working with 6 inches. So I took 6 inches off. So guys, from that point, I'll be chalking my armhole line, my bust point line, my under bust, and my half length. So my half length is 16 inches. I'll be adding extra 1 inch for joining allowance, which gave me 17. So I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. So I'll label this as my chest line, my bust point, my under bust, and my half length. So guys, what I'll be doing next is taking my nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 will give me 3.5. I'll be adding extra 1 inch, which is 4. So I'll be choking 4 inches on all the lines. What I'll do next is to connect my lines together. So I'll be taking in the darts. On the underbust, I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides. So I'll go ahead now to chalk 1 inch on this side and also 1 inch on this other side. I'll connect it all the way down to the half length. So what I'll do next is to connect the point all the way down to the bust point line, coming down by ½ inch to eliminate pointiness around the bust area. So what I'll do next is at the top part, that's the chest line area, I'll be taking 0.75 on both sides. So on this side of the pattern, I'll be taking 0.75, also 0.75 on this point. So I'll connect it all the way down to the bust point line, coming up by ½ an inch. So I'm just going to be ticking out my darts as usual. So guys, for the neckline, you determine how deep you want your neckline to be. So for me, I'm just going to be chalking 1.5 inch. Then from this point, I'll connect all the way down to the bust point. You can use your ruler to do that or your free hand. So after doing that, I'm going to be replacing back the dart and placing my measurement. So on this side of the pattern, I'll replace back the dart we took. Then on the chest line, I'll be placing my bust measurement divided by 4. So the bust divided by 4 will give me 8. I'll replace back the dart on this point. And I'll also add 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So what I'll do is curve this point. So this will serve as my armhole line. So on the underbust, I'll place my underbust measurement divided by 4. So the underbust I'm working with divided by 4 will give me 7. I'll replace back this dart we took, that's 2 inches. And I'll be adding extra 2 inches for my joining allowance. Same goes for the waistline. I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4, which gave me 8. I'll replace back this dart. And I'll also add 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. we are done with the front part of the bustier. It is really easy to make. Go ahead now to label this as my bust point, my under bust, and my half length. So we are good to go. I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. Guys, this is what I have for the front part of the bustier. When you open it up, you just place this on this and this on this. So we are good to go. Guys, for the back, my pattern is folded into two as well. In case you want to add a zipper to yours, go ahead, chalk out your zip allowance. But I will not be adding zip to mine, but let me just do that for the sake of others. So I'm going to be chalking 2 inches for my zip allowance. So go ahead, chalk 2 inches all the way down. After doing that, connect it into a straight line. I'll go ahead now to indicate this as my zip allowance. So what I'll be doing next is taking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder we are working with divided by 2 is 8 inches. We're going to be taking 1.5 inch off since it's an off shoulder. So I took 1.5 inches off and I chalked what I had. So from that point, I'll also take out 6 inches. So you've taken 6 inches off for the off shoulder. Then from that point, I'll chalk my armhole line, which is 9. Then I'll be chalking the half length. So we have 17 here. So I'll go ahead now to connect it into a straight line. What I'll do next is to indicate my chest line and my half length. Is placing our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 4 inches. I'm going to chalk same 4 inches at this point and I'll connect it into a straight line. So for the dart, I'll be taking ½ inch on both sides. Then I'll connect all the way down to the chest line. So what we'll do next is place our body measurement. So on this point, I'll be placing my bust measurement divided by 4, which is 8. I'll be adding an extra 2 inches for joining allowance. And at the waistline, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7. I'll replace back the half inch we took, which is 1. And I'll also add 2 inches for sewing allowance. I'll go ahead now to connect my lines together. So guys, this is what we have. Then do not forget to curve your armhole. So I'll be curving out my armhole. So guys, for the back neckline, you can choose to leave it straight or come down a bit, then you curve in your neckline depending on the shape you want. But for me, I'm just going to be leaving my back this way, as you can see. Then for the zipper bulge, on this waistline area, you can come in here by 0.75. So I'm just going to come in by 0.75, or you can come in by 1 inch. Then from this point, just slant all the way up. So we are slanting all the way up. So it will eliminate any zipper bulge. But you know, I will not be attaching zip to mine. I'm going to be attaching loop. So what I'll do is to eliminate this part. I'll be taking this part off. So I'll take it off since I'm not adding zip to it. Then on this part of the pattern, I'll be coming in by 2 inches. So I'll be taking 2 inches off. So I'll connect it into a straight line, as you can see. So I'll take this off as well. Then my loop is going to be on this side of the pattern. So this is what we'll have for the loop. So I'll go ahead now to take out this point. So I changed my mind for the neckline. I think I'm going to be coming down a bit to slant it. So from this point, I'm just going to come down by 1.5. Then I'll be slanting all the way down there. I'll go ahead now to slant. From this point, I'm just going to slant all the way down here. Go ahead now to cut that part out. Hope we understand. So this is what the back will look like. This is how the back will look like. It won't be looking straight. So this is it for the back. I've cut out my fabric and this is what I have after cutting. So I have my fabric here, I have my wadding. I've gone ahead to cut out my wadding and my paper stay. So what I'll do on the center front is to place my wadding just this way. As you can see, then I'll attach the paper stay on it. So I'll go ahead now to iron it together. So we are good to go with the center front. Then for the side as well, I cut out wadding for the sides. So just going to place it this way. As you can see, I'm going to be placing my wadding on it this way. Then my paper stay on it. I'm going to iron it together. Then I'll do the same thing for this part as well. I'm going to place it this way and place the paper stay on it. Then I'll go ahead now to iron. I have a detailed video on how to perfectly pad a bustier. You should check that video out. We'll do that for the center front. Then for the back, I'm just going to be adding my paper stay at the back. So I'll go ahead now to do that. Then after doing that, I'll do the same thing for the lining. I'll cut out my lining and then I'll be adding just paper stay to it.
So guys, as you can see here, I've cut out the lining. I'm going to be joining my fabric together. So I'll just place the center front on the side, then stitch with 1/2 inch all the way down. Then I'll do the same thing for this other side as well. I'm going to stitch and then repeat the same process on the lining piece as well. For the back as well, I'm going to be taking in my darts. I'll fold and take in my darts. I'll do the same thing for the lining piece as well. Then for the back, I want to attach fabric at this point, that's at the zip allowance area. So I'll be attaching this fabric on the loop area. So with me here is 4 inches. I folded it into 2, which is 2 inches. So I'm going to fold it and then place it at this point. After placing, I'm going to run a stitch all the way down and also run a stitch here too as well. So you repeat same process on the other side. So after joining my fabric together, this is what the front looks like, as you can see. So what I'll do is add my lining piece to the main fabric. So I'm going to place it together, then I'll be stitching and then turning it inside out. For the back, I've attached my loop. As you can see, this is what it looks like for the back. So what I did next was to cut out the down part, that's the skirt part, and I also cut out my lining, as you can see. So what I'll do is join my fabric together. So I'll be joining the top part to the down part of the skirt. So I'm going to place it this way and stitch 1/2 inch. Then I'll do the same thing for the back as well. I'm going to place the back on the back this way. Then I'm going to be stitching with 1/2 inch, then stitch with 1/2 inch as well. So guys, for the sleeve, I folded my fabric into 2 and I'm cutting for the both sleeve. So what I have here is 26 inches thereabouts. The length is 26 inches. Then on fold, I have 17.5 inches. So what you need to do to make it easier, you're to fold the top parts and the down part, since I'm going to be attaching elastic at the top part and also adding elastic at the down part. So I'll go over and then fold. After folding my fabric, I'm going to be using the front armhole to cut out the fabric, which I did here. I'm sorry I didn't show that part. Just place your armhole, then place the folded part, and then you cut. So after cutting, I'm going to be attaching my sleeve to the dress. So I'll place it this way, right side facing each other. Then I'm going to be stitching. So when you stitch, make sure you do not stitch to the end point because you'll be attaching the elastic at that point before stitching. So guys, I'll go ahead now to stitch and I'll repeat same process on this other side. I'll place it right side facing each other. Then I'm going to be stitching. I won't stitch at the top part because I'll be passing my elastic in. So I have a video on how to do this. I'll drop it and I'll also drop that video to know the amount of elastic you need to cut out. So this, I'm just trying to make the video a bit fast. So I went ahead to attach the elastic at the elastic casing. So after attaching my elastic, I'm going to be attaching my elastic at the down part as well, but I'll be using the smaller elastic. So guys, this is it. I'll repeat same process and this is the final result. This is the dress. Hope the tutorial was helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. For now, bye.